Hey, this is Dan, just at the start of the episode to say this episode is sponsored by my comic book series Grey, which another issue of is currently funding on Kickstarter. I'll talk a bit more about that partway through the episode. Hello and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
And for this episode we have returning guest, it's Mack from Pointless Reinvention.
Hello! We're going to talk about Men in Black.
We are the Men in Black. Hey Helena, remember when we bought the Will Smith album Big Willie Style from Poundland for £1?
Yeah, that was a gift. Our friend, not this Michael, other
Yeah.
Michael bought it for me.
Yeah, that was a great time. Anyway, so it turns out, right, so most of my nostalgia for Men in Black, as I found out from watching this, is actually from Men in Black 2. I
Okay.
didn't remember that much from this. The main things I remember from Men in Black is the subway scene where the giant worm is chasing the train.
That's not in this film.
No, that's not in this
No,
film. No.
no,
So
that
anyway,
wasn't.
that's my nostalgia. I've definitely seen this before, but I've seen the second one way more.
Absolutely. I watched this with a load of friends over Discord, like in preparation for this, and I was like, one of my favorite scenes is coming up, and then the scene before it came and passed without my favorite scene appearing, and I was like, oh, is that the second one? And I googled it, and it was the second one. And almost exactly the same thing happened multiple times. Like, that Johnny Knoxville's going to be here, and then he just wasn't.
I've definitely seen the first one more than the second one.
Yeah.
But I've seen both of them a lot, and there's because it's virtually the same group. Because it's the girl, she's not actually a woman in black at this point. That's
Yeah.
a different film. That's a scarier film.
Harry Potter.
No, that's the equivalent. The men in black go around wiping people's memories and fighting alien. The women in black go around scaring Harry Potter in a house in the middle of nowhere
And just killing kids, I think.
and killing children. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this film.
I loved it so much more than I thought I was going to. I was watching this being like, this is going to be like an okay 90s film. I think this is...
It's a good
Oh, no, yeah.
90s film.
I think this is maybe my favorite childhood era semi-adult film I can think of.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen Men in Black 2. Could you describe the worm in the... I've never seen it. I
There's a-
don't think I've
there's
ever
a-
seen
She
Men in
has to
Black.
go into a spaceship at the end and get sent into the stars because she controls the weather.
Nope.
No, the main bit I
that
remember
might
is
not really be accurate.
like Will Smith on
I
a.
think that's kind of correct, yeah.
Yeah,
I should watch Men in Black 2.
we'll do
She's
Men
like,
in Black 2
"Oh,
at some
it's-
point.
No, we
Okay.
don't have to.
She cries. I cry. Yeah, everyone. Lots of people get sad when it's raining. It's like, no, it's raining because you're sad.
Ugh.
That's all I sort of remember of that film.
I
I
don't
don't know
remember
what
that
it-
bit. I remember the big worm eating the train.
Yeah.
I love the
That's-
aliens in
That's
this
called
film.
Dune.
Oh.
so.
What do you call the
Yeah,
guy?
Men in Black's way better than Dune.
What do you call the guy that voices Joe in Family Guy? He's like, Peter, that guy.
Oh, Patrick Warburton.
Yeah, he's in the second film for like 2 minutes.
Is he?
Yeah, he's Will Smith's partner for like 5 seconds in it. And it's very funny because Will Smith buys him a slice of pie and Patrick Warburton starts crying because he knows Will's about to wipe his memory.
Hmm.
It's just like, you're going to send me back, aren't you, Will? He's like, oh, no.
So did you watch this a lot, Mac, when you were a kid, or?
Yeah, I genuinely really liked this film as a kid. I don't know if I mentioned it before and the other ones we've done, but I had a real weird phobia of aliens as a kid. So this was a real fear for me to go watch this. And I think when I watched it, I was like, oh, this is really quite enjoyable and not that scary. As much as I would say, like, for a film of this era, the effects are all right. I think
Yeah, it's mainly
Yeah,
puppets
yeah.
and stuff, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
There's
like,
a lot
I
of
think it's pretty
practical.
good. Yeah,
And-
I really thought it would scare me more so. And I remember like in the first scene they have that, is it the alien called Mikey that they see who's like in costume as a immigrant at the very start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember watching it the first time being really scared when he went to kill the other guy and then he was just killed so easily. I was like, oh, well, maybe we are better. Maybe we're not going to get killed by all the aliens. And that was kind of fine at that point. But I really love this, and I didn't realize till I watched it back. I genuinely think the reason I love this is because I love Kay. I don't think I give
Yeah.
a shit about Will Smith. I think Kay holds this together so much.
Oh yeah, no,
100%.
he's absolutely fantastic in this film. He's so deadpan and
But he knows exactly what film he's in, right?
yeah.
Like he gets it exactly. Like he is the straight man to Will Smith's like cocky, like arrogant, like rookie, but at the same time he is able to bring like jokes without being without breaking his character of what he is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
he's
think
amazing.
he's so good in this.
The chemistry between them is pretty good though when they're like riffing off each other, especially when there's that scene in the where he goes back to the jewelers, the dodgy jewelers that also sells like alien weapons.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Tony Shalhoub's place, Jeeves. Jeeves is the character's name.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he's like gonna shoot him in the head, and like obviously Will Smith doesn't realize that shooting this guy in the head won't kill him because he can regrow heads and stuff. But I did really enjoy the way they were sort of interacting and like developing their friendship.
They're doing the good cop, bad cop thing, and he's like, "I'm telling you, Jeeves, he's gonna do it," and then he actually just shoots his head off, and Will Smith's like, "What the?" I cannot express how much I love it. It's so obviously made to be a Will Smith vehicle, right? It's so obviously made to be like, this is gonna be like Will Smith's big, like,
Well, he does all the music for it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, Tommy Lee Jones is exceptionally good in this for what is essentially like a family romp. Do you know what I mean?
And then Vincent D'Onofrio is just fucking insane as is it
So good.
What's the character?
Edgar,
that's the one. Yeah,
his wife calls him Edgar the whole time, which I think is very funny.
Because it's like an alien bug like crashes down and kills him and steals his skin, and so he just looks like his skin's falling off half the time, and he's slowly rotting more and more as it goes on.
You have to give it, because like Vincent D'Onofrio is like a really legitimately good dramatic actor. He commits to being like an alien in his man suit so much. Like every time he moves like all his joints are incredibly painful and stiff, and it's so good.
The scene where he's trying to act casual, watching while he's like staking out the jewelers, and he's manipulating his arms and legs to like.
Yeah, he has to like use his other arm to drag his arm across to put like lean his head on. It's so good. Like everyone in this is like one of those things where I don't think this is to the same level of the film I'm going to reference, but I always think that School of Rock's one of those things where it's like a perfect storm of like it's the right person for the right film, right, and it just works so well. Everyone in this film is like pulling 100 and is just perfectly cast, I think, for what they're meant to do. Do you know what I mean? And even just like the wee things like Frank the dog and the worms and stuff are like they're not major characters, but I just think they add such a depth to like the lore of it. I really could not express how much I was enjoying watching this, and I did not remember loving it as much as a kid. But I was like, this is just like what blockbusters should be, right?
Yeah, and it was from that era of there are a lot of kind of cameo type stuff in this film, like a lot of actors where you go, oh, wow, they're in it.
Yeah,
I love that in films, and you get that a lot from like 90s, early 2000s films, and this does it really well. Like the guy who owns the morgue place. Because he was kind of big. I can't remember his name.
David Cross, Tobias Funke in Arrested Development.
Yeah, him and it is great.
On a side note, Michael, he's a pretty big character in 2, so just saying.
Wow.
There's a little push for you to watch number 2.
Yeah, I should. I'm surprised I've never. I think, thinking back, I think I hated this film because like everyone loved it when it came out. And my brain was like, nah, I don't like it. I've never seen it. I don't know. I think I watched it once and I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
It might have even been that thing where I had a friend that really loved it.
Yeah, nothing kills a movie faster.
So I was like, I'm not watching the second one. The second one's going to be shit.
This is a very odd thing to say, but I think in a weird way, this film that doesn't have like an excessive amount of like laugh out loud jokes really influenced my like what I like in comedy, and that is from one scene in it, and it's the scene where Will Smith is struggling to write on a piece of paper, then pulls a table for an uncomfortably long time. It made such a loud, awful noise that I was like, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen. And I genuinely think that has led to the amount of like bits and stuff I've done with my friends where I have just not let the bit drop because I'm like, that's the bit, right? The bit is how long it takes to happen. And the fact that everyone else in the room is such a professional person just staring at him, scraping this awful metal table across the room for far too long.
Yeah.
So do you think they were ever actually going to recruit anyone except Will Smith for that? So I was trying to work out, like, he catches an alien, or nearly catches an alien kills himself, but whatever. It's a light-hearted suicide.
Yeah, the family comedy suicide that you get.
Yeah, you don't see him hit the floor, it's fine.
And so he's then given, like, the Men in Black card to go and interview for a role working for them. And they've got all these other, like, army people that have no idea and clearly haven't had any extraterrestrial kind of...
I assume they have.
Oh.
I assumed they were all there because they'd all like interacted with an alien and come out on top.
Oh, see, because after Will, or Agent J as he's calling us, gets the job, all the rest of them are neuralized, right? So they have their memories away.
Yeah.
Every one of them. So you would expect that wouldn't be the case, right?
Yeah, they'd have found other roles suitable for them within the rather large complex that they have.
That was one bit, actually, Helena, as you point out, I did find confusing, right? Because no one else who's there seems to be like a military person. Like, Kay, you find out in the second one, it used to be a postman. And I'm pretty sure that Zed was just like a security guard. Do you mean it's like none of them like they're all like I suppose technically authority figures, I guess, for lack of a better term, but like they're not like big high-ranking government officials like the rest of the.
How dare you speak of our noble postal service?
No, this is in America. Obviously, the UK postal service are kings, and America shit, awful, scum of the earth.
How dare you? The American Postal Service is one of the. As an English person, I say the American Postal Service is brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I like a proper postman posts your letters through your door.
Yeah, I agree.
Look, they're the backbone of American society.
I don't have any strong feelings about postmen in case someone is listening. That's
I just remember the time that I saw a postman walking around pushing a pram, and I was like, I wonder how many times people ask him how he when he delivered it.
How the delivery went.
So I'm not going to say it because he's going to have heard that joke 5 times in the last 10 minutes.
It just grabs you by the jacket and just starts shaking you.
Last year, I got a parcel come through the door, and obviously they knocked on the door and left the parcel on the mat, which we're fine with because it's a block of flats. Like that's pretty much what they always do. I got the door, opened the door as they were walking back down the stairs, and my partner called out, "Oh, who was it?" And I was like, "Oh, it was the postman." Just sort of, but it was a female. It was a female post worker, and she yelled out from the bottom of the stairs, "Post woman!" And I was just sat there like.
That's queen shit, that is. That's queen shit.
Sorry, I hadn't seen you.
It was the post being.
Post being.
Well, that's what they're called in Men in Black, famously, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's what the one that committed suicide is.
Yeah, he is.
I assumed they were all there because they'd interacted with an alien, and that's why they wiped their memory to get rid of all of it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that is very
maybe,
possible.
yeah. I mean, it's sort of not really a huge part of the story. I think I sort of had that Kingsman, and obviously this is way before that, but that Kingsman thing where it felt like maybe other people had suggested everyone had sort of volunteered someone for the role.
Yeah.
And then because it's ultimately going to be Kay's replacement, he got much more say. Yeah.
It was just because Will Smith's character thought laterally, he just did everything wrong, and actually gave the aliens personality when he did the shooting thing. And all
I really enjoy that bit where
really
the interview is a really good sequence. Where he kills the girl because she's studying quantum physics.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, right, and this is something I hadn't actually realized till just now, and we're talking about it. It is literally, it's meant to be Kay's replacement, right? And you think of if that was one of those people who was a high-ranking member of the Navy or something, right? And they need information. They're not going to go to tabloids. They're not going to go to an alien disguised as a pug, right? And Kay does all the stuff that probably is very outside of what a normal member of a government organization would do. But he knows it still gets results. You need someone who just knows how to work the system and not just a bad.
And a cop.
Yeah, I love the training sequence because it was just about which one of them thought outside of it's an alien, shoot it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I imagine working with aliens all the time. If your gut reaction is to shoot it, you're not going to do too well.
It's not going to do.
You just got to hope that you only meet Jeeves.
Yeah.
I am annoyed in that bit, so he gets the training and then they go into the full facility. What annoys me, and this is the only bit of the film where I'm I really don't like that they did this.
Is it the flubber bit?
No, it's just a structure thing. It's just a film structure thing on a macro level. They introduced a shit ton of Chekhov's guns, and then they never talked about them again. None of them ever got shot. Because they're like, oh yeah, we have this translator and we have this thing, and we have this rocket thing that bounces everywhere. None of that comes up again, and I was so upset.
Yeah, I did find it a bit odd, and I guess that was kind of them trying to jam in just merchy kind of things. I think because that's probably that kind of era where it's just oh, you can buy the ball if you know what I mean. It was just
the marketing. I was looking up the marketing for this film. It was wild. They did so much marketing for this film. I started writing it down because there's so many. So they did the normal figurines, action figurines. They did a set of watches, which with quite a high-end watch company. They did a video game. They did a tabletop RPG. There's a Men in Black. They also did a Head and Shoulders shampoo advertising campaign.
They should have saved that for Evolution.
The slogan was "Keep the men in black," which is wild. And I just, why shampoo?
It stops the dandruff, I guess.
Yeah, you don't have dandruff falling on your black suit.
I know why the shampoo works.
Yeah.
My problem is why for Men in Black.
Well, then that's probably. I wonder if that's where the inspiration for using the shampoo in Evolution came from.
I doubt it.
It's very possible.
Mm.
I imagine Evolution was heavily.
Yeah, because they're both good films.
Yeah, because they're like aliens on Earth. That'll do.
So, when speaking of aliens on Earth, one of my favorite tiny little things that I definitely didn't appreciate as a kid, but rewatching this, because it'd been a few years since I'd seen it, but I was still an adult last time I saw it, but it still didn't twig. The screen where they're talking about all the aliens live among us, and like some of them we have to keep tabs on.
Yeah.
And like all the celebrities
Yep.
that were in those cameras watching them at all times. That was pretty great.
That was one of the things I was going to say. I was like, one of the things that I've really come to not enjoy is like films that have unnecessary amounts of quips in them, right? And I don't really mind quips generally, but I just don't like them constantly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think all the ones in Men in Black were genuinely quite good because they're all like references to things that people have probably made jokes about in the 90s, which is like, you know, Elvis is dead, right? Elvis isn't dead, so he just went home.
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of thing. Or like, do you want to get tickets to like the Bulls game at the weekend? I'll just ask Dennis Rodman for them. Like just things that were like just celebrities were like, these are probably just aliens, right? And I like that because it's like a little minor thing that just adds other bits of lore to it without being unnecessarily like fourth wall breaky or like nullifying like a serious moment for making a joke. It's just like it's the kind of thing they would have said in conversation, and I liked it. Do you know what I mean?
My one of the first ones, and I did think at the time, oh god, is this much more full of quips than I thought it was going to be? Is when he's chasing the alien right at the start, and he jumps down off the bridge onto the tour bus, like one of those sightseeing buses.
Yep.
And he's just like, it's just raining black people today in New York. So like all these Asian tourists that are like.
But also, like, I know that sounds odd, but that knowing the character of Jada, that seems entirely like something he would just say, right?
Yeah.
Because even the first time he neuralizes someone, he's just like, "You're gonna get yourself a new dress. You don't need him."
Right.
It's so, like, he just is just stream of consciousness with him. There's no like forward planning, and I love that. Like.
And then there's the bit later when they go to zap the morgue lady, the mortician, and he's like, you need to neutralize her, wipe her memory, give her a new one. And then he's like leans back and he like calls back to them. He's like, make it a nice memory.
Yeah. Kane's reaction there is so good, right? Where like he's like, new memory needed inside, and then Jay just looks at him, and Kay just like is just so frustrated. Like, just lifts out, he's like, make it a nice one, I guess. He's just so angry about it.
Yeah, I like the frustration, but that sort of father-son kind of relationship that they have, where he's learning from his newbie as well. Like the rookie is teaching him stuff.
I think it's because he isn't old and jaded. He's like pretty. Will Smith's character is pretty calm and like. Because he's new to it all, he treats everything with respect, which is pretty cool. Like every alien that he interacts with is done initially with respect.
Yeah. Like he's like he's not sure how to deal with them, but he doesn't want to be rude either. Do you know what I mean?
Like,
and I think that's how he ends up delivering a squid baby.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that isn't in the job description, but Kay is like, fuck it, like, like he doesn't know any better. He doesn't know this isn't a normal day at the office.
Yeah, they're tracking why that alien has left his perimeters, and he's like, my wife's giving birth. And it's when just in the background, Will Smith's just being thrown around by this tentacle.
It was brilliant.
That's funny because Kay obviously knows what's coming, right? And he's just like, "You come with me, Jay. You stay here." Takes him away from the car, and then it's just like in the foreground you see it happening, but it's obviously Kay has just turned his back on it because he's like, "I don't want to deal with this." There's so much of that stuff I think that Jay as a character is just really good, right? He clearly is just someone who is genuinely trying his best to make the place a better place.
Yeah,
which is I think why Kay picked him from the place, because there's bound to be other cops that can run fast, because that's what an implication is at the start of why he picked him, right?
And it was the quick thinking to follow this guy, know that something in his gut, that this wasn't something, like something was up, and not being freaked out by the weird weapon and it like going invisible and like being really sure that this guy blinked with 2 sets of eyelids rather than being like, oh, it must have been my imagination.
Yeah, there's so much of it I just really like. I don't know really how to express properly why it works so well, but it's like a really just tight film. Do you mean? Other than
Yeah.
what you're saying, Mike, which I think is correct with like
Chekhov's armory.
Here's a load of shit. Everything like leans.
Yeah, it wouldn't have taken much for like them to have Will Smith to have like pocketed the orb that goes fast and then like used it to like at least knock out something or get in the way or take out the spaceship or something.
Yeah.
They shot the spaceship down. You very easily could have had Will be like, because they have the whole implication that it's near a baseball game and stuff as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you could have had them go there and have Will just be like, "Can I borrow this bat?" and then just smash the ball up to the spaceship. Do you mean? And it just adds a bit more like. Oh, a bit foreshadowing in it, which would have been nice.
Well, and especially because all of the things I pick up and mess with in that room, all usable in some way. Like there's like the tiny CD that was music. You could use that.
Like, that was a very 90s bit though.
It
was like, oh, look at these tiny CDs for the future.
There's 10,000 songs. That's not like bullshit. I've got like 600,000 songs in my phone.
And then there was the translator and the ball, the orb. Especially with the gloves as well, because they put enough effort into be like, you have to handle it with special gloves.
Yeah,
and it would have been great if you hit it. Like the baseballed it into the spaceship, and then it was just like, "Do you have the gloves?" No.
It's just like bouncing around in that ship.
That would have been funny, right? Because that's kind of like the same as what Kate did at the end. Because he's like, "Well, I'm going to get eaten because I'm going to get my gun back, so I'm going to take a calculated risk." In the same way that Jay could have been like, "Well, if he's taking a risk, I will as well," and then he takes the ball out to hit it. Do you remember that the gloves or something would have been like something? But even that the big guns is in itself the end of foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Jay complaining about the small gun, but it's just a more obvious joke, right?
Yeah.
It's just more obvious than being like, oh, the ball would have been like a cool thing to do.
Even though that small gun has the most insane recoil.
The noisy cricket.
I love the noisy cricket. The first time he hits it, the noise he makes when he gets out of the shelf is so funny. He's just like, woo!
I do love that because it implies obviously that he's only given that gun not because it's actually suitable, but because Kay's just fucking with him.
Yeah. Kay will be like, he's gonna find this really cool. I feel like everything Kay does to Will Smith's character is it'll be cool for him.
It will teach him a lesson and he'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Two of my favorite lines in this film are in that right after that bit where he knocks the ball all around the Men in Black, right? Which is, it's time to put it on. Put what on? The last suit you'll ever wear, which in my head is just a very iconic. Like, that's what I think when I think of Men in Black. But then Will Smith's first quote in my head that I think I remembered for ages, which was, "What's the difference between me and you? I make this look good."
Yeah.
That's just Will Smith summarized as an actor in the 90s, right? It was
just oozing confidence.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Grey Issue 4, a comic book series that I've written and is currently funding on Kickstarter. It's the story of an ex-undercover cop who is back from the dead to take down the mob he was infiltrating. But now he's made of concrete. When you pledge, you can get digital and physical copies, posters, sketch cards of yourself, some of the original artwork, and there's even the chance to be drawn into the comic book yourself. Any backer will also receive the digital backlog as soon as I can send it out to you. The issue is funding until the 3rd of April, so check it out. The link is in the show notes. Back to the episode.
So 2 aliens get killed. There's a universe in the side of a cat's necklace.
Yeah, and the cat is called Orion, and it's on his collar from the start.
Yeah, the Orion's belt. But yeah, there's 2 aliens. I just need to get it because I want to talk about the morgue scene and that woman who is remarkably calm. But yeah, the 2 aliens with the necklace, the cat plant universe.
Yeah, because they both get killed by Edgar.
Yeah, the bug aliens trying to get the universe in the cat's necklace. That's pretty much
use the micro energy or whatever from the tiny universe to fund their energize their fleet.
Yeah. But they end up in the morgue with this woman who is a doctor, and she is the calmest human being I think I've ever seen.
Well, you don't need to be rushed off your feet when they're already dead.
Well, but when the guy was there,
yeah, like when its face opens and there's the tiny alien in it, she's not freaking out. She's just like, oh, okay.
And that's how you know that she's suitable for Men in Black as well.
Yeah. But then there's like the scene where she's getting thrown around by a guy with a gun, and she's just like, wow, okay. How dare you? It's like, no, which even before you find out he's an alien, this weird guy who's clearly not okay has a massive handgun, I'd be a bit more scared than going, no, wait, hold on.
Yeah, how rough is this gig in New York? Like, does she get held up a lot?
Yeah, like, who's holding up a morgue anyway?
Is a standard practice that if a cat goes to the morgue, you have to look after it?
Try your cat. Yeah, I guess if it doesn't leave. I don't like how grungy that morgue is.
Really?
Like
I thought it looked quite clean, but
the
obviously had a bit of a
outside
fly
of it.
problem.
The outside of it, with the main like desk office, was awful. It was like really good. I thought morgues were meant to be clean.
Well, I mean, you know what? You can't get sick from it, right? They're already dead.
I'm not. I don't. When I said clean, I don't mean for the dead people. It's not like
Yeah.
make it look nice so they come in.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of stainless steel, and then the floors just get, cleaned every night by cleaners.
Yeah, the main desk. I like the guts on the guy behind the desk at the morgue. His balls where he killed some bugs, and then this guy's like, "Stop killing the bugs." Again, clearly unhinged.
Yeah.
So stop killing the bugs, and then he puts his arm on the table, and more bugs come out of this guy. And the morgue, the desk person's like, "I know how to deal with this situation. I'm gonna get bug spray."
Yeah. And then he gets gooed to the ceiling.
Yeah. Stop killing the bugs at that point.
I 100% thought he was dead whenever I watched that the first time.
Is he not?
No, he is in the second one, but I 100% thought he died.
Oh, they should have killed him.
Which also reminds me, Edgar actually gets two very funny jokes in this film, which is Edgar looks like the skin's hanging off you, then he pulls the skin.
Oh, that skin
Oh.
pulling scene is etched into my into my brain. Like that really not scarred me as a child,
Yeah.
but it really stuck.
Like,
Like
with
it's
me.
it's definitely a lot of prosthetics, right? Because he does look like himself when you first see him before he's taken
Yeah.
over by the bug. I'm like, oh, it's Kingpin, and then it's
He's the real Vinny D. That's what I want to say. That's my controversial opinion. The true Vinny D. Is him.
But yeah, like as the skin is rotting as the movie goes on, and he's just looking more and more mangled, is so good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no, he's hella like ugly and bloated.
Yeah.
And
The other good joke he has is whenever he is in the restaurant before he kills the two aliens, right? And the chef's like, "Hey, where's Ralph?" And he's like, "I gave him a break." And then it turns around and Ralph's just like broken in half.
it's just stuffed
broken
in a
half tucked
cupboard.
under the counter. Yeah. One thing I did find frustrating, just plot wise, is that he so quickly and easily kills those two Arctulians or whatever they're called, those two aliens.
Yeah, where he does the
By
little
just
stab.
stabbing them through the neck with his little stabby thing. But then it obviously he like just beats up and whatever attacks the men in black.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even try and use his pincer, really.
Yeah, he could have very easily dispatched them, then got into the ship to fuck off.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing where I'm like, I get that he had to kill these people, but at least they could have either made it harder for him to kill those two people, or easier for him to actually do some damage to Will and K and J, because they don't ever feel like they're really in danger.
The thing is, as well, like the two aliens that you say that he kills, like they're just suits, right? Because the actual aliens are inside the head. You very easily could have just had a thing where if he's leaving them food anyway, just put something in the food that breaks their like the big Macks they're driving. Do you mean? Like you don't even have to actually kill them. He could just break the Macks then.
Yeah, because they don't get stabbed. It's just the mech that gets stabbed, and they die anyway.
I'm assuming they just can't breathe Earth's oxygen or something.
Yeah.
But that would have been very easy still, just to break the Mac down and then just take the thing and walk off. And it would have stopped it being a whole big scene. But then I think that is the other side of it, is the bugs just aren't smart, right? Like they're just...
Yeah, no, they're just quick-tempered and...
They're there to kill.
Yeah.
That's all they're there for.
And create chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, when you see him as the proper bug at the end, he looks like a weird CGI version of the grasshoppers in Bug's Life.
Yeah. I think that was meant to be an animatronic to begin with, that bug at the end. When they started, and it was too expensive.
Yeah, that was pretty big. Like,
because this was Lights and Magic. Is that what the company's called?
ILM.
Like,
Industrial Lights and Magic.
The big thing, which is why like it all looks so good.
Yeah.
Because outside of the Muppets thing, they're like the best.
They do have some element of that thing built, right? Because K is in its stomach, so obviously they did. Like, cause
they do some prosthetic scenes, like where it explodes.
Yeah, I think having it move is probably
very expensive.
Yeah, and
have it move and not look like a puppet.
Yeah, animatronics that are that big don't normally look that good.
Yeah. Well, that's probably why they had him in the big Vincent D'Onofrio wears two skins costume for the majority of the film, right? And then at the end, you only show him for 5 minutes or whatever total.
And then like all the other little aliens as well, like the ones that are just in the break room making coffee.
Oh, they're so good. They're my favorite.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I can't remember what they're called.
The worms.
They're just the worms. Oh, okay, yeah, because they're great. And yeah, like I say, the pug being the alien as well, because he's like, oh yeah, that guy's clearly an alien.
I love that. Obviously, all these aliens, they know that there's that Artelian ship coming to Earth to like destroy it. So everyone's yeeting off the planet.
Yeah.
So long and thanks for all the fish kind of vibes.
Yeah.
And you see the worms are like obviously leaving, and Zed's having a go at them, basically calling them cowards or whatever. And they've got a sack barrow full of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Which is just brilliant. Like, I have got to get some duty free on my way out.
There's a cartoon, it's a cartoon, and the worms in it become like full-fledged agents, and they're paid in Marlboro and coffee.
Which is
cartoon, the Disney Channel cartoon.
Yeah,
I remember that.
It was a cartoon for kids.
Yeah, like, it's just like, and they always just say like the same thing. It's like jump on that there. Like, and it's always just every time it cuts to the break room, they're just like drinking coffee and smoking constantly.
I remember that cartoon because the animation was like kind of scuffed, and it looked quite nightmarish. It was like really thin draw. It was weird. It was great though.
It was the same guy who made Ghostbusters Extreme.
Yeah.
It's real upsetting to look at.
Fogged.
I thought the ending of this was genuinely a bit emotional.
Yeah.
I thought it had like a good.
I think the fact that I know obviously in the second film he comes back a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, him having to wipe his memory and him saying that like, you know, that memory of me being inside a bug's stomach and having to bust my way out is one of 100,000 memories I don't want.
Yeah, it was quite sad.
Right, that's
right. That's not good.
And then his wife still sort of being alive as well, and he's like keeping an eye on her.
Yeah.
Was it his wife or just someone he had a crush on?
No, that was his wife. Because at the end, when it shows the final thing, it's like a man wakes up from 35-year coma, and it's him with his wife again.
So
how could you get into that job if you had a wife though? Like that is.
This is the thing. Kay's full plot of the film, right, or his full like character arc is he's driving to see her with flowers, and then he bumps into those aliens at the start. And I remember like they said like, "Oh, you're the guy with the flowers."
Yeah.
And he never gets home, so he's actually one of the people that helps start like that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So he's essentially helped save everyone. And I think that's the thing is that he's like, "I'm doing this to save everyone," and she would have like she'll die if I don't stop.
Yeah.
Essentially, and I think he just felt duty for it, and that's why at some point he's just like, I need to stop now. And that's why there's got that nice bit of like, at some point he's just watching her and she is constantly looking up to the sky, right? Like just wondering where he is. And that's like the nice thing of like, he also spends time just staring at the sky. And there's a nice bit of like continuity there of like there.
Yeah, and the sort of speech about the stars as well that's at the start with the old buddy.
Agent D or something, I think. I don't remember.
Yeah.
The old guy. But I mean, it's just a real nice ending, right? Where it's just like, and then they repeat a line that happened earlier in the film where he's like, "See you around, Jay," and Will's like,
"No, you won't."
Yeah. I was like, that's just such a good little ending, right?
It's also like implied that no one told Will Smith's character to say that. Like there was no talk about this is what you say. That's just like a natural thing that all of them do. I quite like that. And yeah, I like the ending because it also felt very deserved. It wasn't like, you need to feel emotional about this character right now. Yeah. We haven't built it up or anything, but you need to right now. But no, it made sense.
It does have like all those things where it doesn't hit you over the head with Kay's story, right? But you do just get the idea like, this is just a guy who's given everything and he just deserves a break, right?
Yeah.
He just deserves to have some time to himself. And the fact that it starts whenever he's telling Jay, he's like, no one will ever know who you are again. So think about this. Like, it's not just an easy decision. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he obviously knows the sacrifice of it. And that's why Jay sits on that one bench for like a whole day before he says yes. Yeah. He's just staring out.
And he's like, is it worth it? And he's like, yeah. So I suppose at least we do know that he doesn't regret it.
Yeah.
But it is pretty heart-wrenching when he says he doesn't want those memories because it's like there is that regret in his voice.
Yeah. I don't understand how the mind wiping machine works. Because he's just like, this button does days, this button does months, this button does years.
Yeah.
How do you do specific?
It's a little dial on it, and then there's a button on actually below it.
How do you know this?
You can see it if you look at it. There's like little notches on it.
What?
Do you mean how do they know which memories to delete? I thought it just deleted everything about aliens.
Oh yeah, it just deletes everything.
How does it?
Yeah, that's why whenever it said man wakes from coma after 35 years, like he doesn't remember anything since like he first joined. Essentially.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I assume it's like the first thing you tell them that just replaces the memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which when they talk,
Or they're sort of
to-
in a more pliable state at that point, aren't they? Like they're
Yeah.
much more open to whatever you said for like.
yeah,
Like,
well,
or whatever.
when they talk
Three,
to
four, I mean.
that guy's wife, the main bad guy's, I'm terrible with names.
Edgar.
Yeah,
Edgar's wife.
Yeah.
She really deserves to have her mind wiped and forget about him. She
Yeah.
really does, because he's an awful husband. Even when he's just shouting at her
Hmm.
in the beginning when he's actually human.
Yeah, no, I think they don't want you to feel sympathetic with this guy
Towards
that's
him,
about to
yeah.
get hit by like eaten by an alien.
Yeah.
It would be real sad at the end. It's like everyone had a happy ending except that nice farm eaten alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, a bit nicer as a bug than as a human.
Yeah.
At least the bug you can understand. You can figure out what he's doing, you know.
He's just terrible.
But I really think that last little scene, the ending bit, is so carried by Tommy Lee Jones, and that
Yeah.
again, he's not over the top sad, right? It's just as you said, Helena. He's just like, I just don't want these memories anymore. It's just him being like, I've paid my dues and I'm done.
Yeah, and also he's got a good replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Exactly,
that means he
because
can sit down.
The morgue lady. What's her name? I can't remember her name.
The
Morgue lady.
calmest woman that's ever
It's
lived.
Dr. Laurel, but it doesn't really say Laurel an awful lot.
No, because she then becomes Will Smith's new partner. Because how
Yeah.
long I couldn't really tell how long it takes place over, but I think it's only a couple of days. Because I think
isn't it like 2 days?
yeah, because he says
basically?
like not bad for your second day or something after they kill the bug at the end. Like
Yeah.
Do you know what
Yeah.
I did find odd? In the last scene, whenever like it's Jay and Laurel as partners, right?
Mm.
Did you notice he was wearing like a completely different outfit?
yeah, he was wearing it
Yeah.
looked more like a priest outfit.
Right. So I was thinking, I was like, did Will Smith turn down being Neo?
Yeah.
I know this came out before The Matrix. And I'm like, do you think this is just him being like, oh, little reference? Because they could have already been filming The Matrix.
Yeah,
It's
they
very Neo-y, like-
originally asked Will Smith to be in The Matrix, and instead he was in Wild Wild West.
Yeah, and then another film.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he didn't do the Matrix.
I think that because of the character that Will Smith is playing, i.e. Will Smith,
Yeah.
um,
As with almost every other film.
once
isn't it?
he's actually got a bit of control in this place, he's not going to wear the stuffy suit that these blokes are telling him, these old people are telling him to wear. Like, he's immediately going to want to put his own spin on it.
Could it also be down to them saying this will be the last suit you'll ever wear?
Yeah, and he's like,
And-
no, yeah, I'm going to put on whatever I want.
Well, yeah, and it's like, I guess they all get told that because the idea is that you die in the suit.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's
Yeah.
implied. But they kind of show that that doesn't happen all the
Or you're
time.
just not allowed to go to any formal events once you quit.
That specific make of suit is for us and us only.
Do you want to hear something very odd about this film that I know?
Yeah, sure.
Chris O'Donnell was originally cast as Jay, who is Robin in the Batman and Robin films.
Oh dear.
I think they had a considerable step up.
Yeah.
Like, this film would have just been forgotten, right? This would be at the same level as
Oh.
Mars Attacks if it had been Chris O'Donnell. Like,
Yeah.
I never think about this. Like.
Because, like, Will Smith is good in this.
Yeah.
And do you want to know who turned down the role of Kay?
Mm.
Clint Eastwood.
Kind
It
of
was
good.
Clint Eastwood.
Good.
We know how he feels about aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they're a very different film. Lot more guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, if you want to see that, it's called R.I.P.D. is
Yeah.
this film with more guns.
Yeah, I think I've seen that once. Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones really carries this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
I
great.
love Tommy in this. Do you know what? I think Rip Torn's good in it as well. Whatever you call him. No, like Zed.
Yeah.
He plays that character real well as well, I think.
Yeah, that man in charge, especially when that ball scene where it's bouncing everywhere and he just moves his head to the side so it flies past him and bounces away.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't even look up.
Yeah, I love that. Like he's just so used to the bullshit that's going on. It's
Yeah.
great.
So, out of 10, how many cigarettes are the worms smoking?
Thousands.
I genuinely think I would give this an 8. Like, I don't think it's my favorite film ever, but it's like a similar thing to School Rock. I don't know what's wrong with it, really. Other than, like, I think Michael's criticism's fair about that Chekhov's gun thing, but I don't think anything else is necessarily wrong with the film. Do you know what I mean?
No,
it's
it's
really
great.
fun to watch and it's not too long. And yeah, it has got that. It's funny.
Yeah.
Like, it's got a lot of comedy in it, but a lot of action and a lot of sort of
And, like-
aliens. Really well made aliens.
It's just to reiterate my point earlier about Tommy Lee Jones. The same with this. This film knows exactly what it is, right? It's not trying to do anything. It's not. It's just
No.
a fun 90-minute film about aliens, and that's it. It's
Yeah,
not pretentious, like.
It delivers all the emotional points that a lot of films like this miss because they're trying to be too funny, and it's like, no, it gives space to the emotional stuff as
Why do
well.
I feel like you're talking about evolution?
No, I'm not. I would never talking about Anna and the Apocalypse, actually.
No, it's in for films that miss that point.
Oh,
no. Where the emotional hits don't land because it's too funny. Or trying to be too funny.
Yeah, no, that's it. Evolution is trying to be too funny. It doesn't even attempt at the comment. This isn't about evolution. No, but like the emotional bits are like solid as well. I'm happy it didn't miss them, because that was like when it was building and there was like it's gonna be sad moment. I was expecting it to be bad, but no, it landed it. Yeah, I think I'd give it like a 7. This is all around a good film.
I think I'd give it sort of 7 flippers in the air.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It's not a film that I like go out of my way to watch, but I've definitely like watched it on TV when it's been on and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think everyone.
And I'm pleased I watched it again as a little bit more critically, because it does actually. It's one of those films you hold up the light to it and
it
actually does. It does hold up. And
we found one.
You hold up the light and you flash it, and it doesn't forget itself.
I'm really happy here, right? Because the last 2 episodes I've done with you guys have been pieces of shit. Whenever Dan was like,
you bought us gold.
A superhero or a comic book film, I very nearly did the original Ninja Turtles film. I'm glad I did this instead.
Me too.
Yeah, no, same.
Yeah.
Although the original.
I really enjoyed this as well. Like, even though most of my memories were actually of the sequel, I had a good time watching this. I think I'd have to give this 8 songs written by Will Smith for the soundtrack out of 10.
He does the soundtrack.
Yeah, of course he does.
Did you guys all go to see this in the cinema, or did you watch it?
I think I was a bit young.
I definitely didn't.
Every single Men in Black film I've wanted to watch, this is before post-credit scenes, I've sat the whole way through the credits to hear every song. Every single one of them.
Are we gonna...
Do it again, whenever they inevitably release the 4th, or like the 9th.
Yeah, and Men in Black Internationals. It was like the 3rd. No, there was Men in Black 3 and then Men in Black
Men in Black 3 is the one that's got Josh Brolin in it, and it's time travel. Men in Black International was fine.
Was it? I watched, I think, half of it and turned it off.
Are we going to talk about the remake stuff? Or...
We don't have to.
Yeah, that's fine.
This is my sacred ploy. I always come on with a film that there's multiple sequels to, so I can.
We'll definitely do Men in Black 2 at some point.
Like,
I'm happy to watch Men in Black 2. I'm just reluctant to watch the others.
Yeah, I think Men in Black 2 is probably a fine place to stop.
Yeah, no, we need to find like the. You don't have to trick us to come on, by the way.
Just ask.
It's just easier, right?
I'm not doing another Power Rangers.
No, we're doing another Power Rangers. Let's go.
You'll probably know the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles exist in the same universe as the Power Rangers.
We can do the All Red Rangers episode.
Oh, fuck yeah. That genuinely is a good bit of TV. Anyway, sorry, do your outro. I'm sorry for interrupting.
That's fine. Oh, yeah. So I've been Dan.
I've been Michael.
And I've been Helena.
Oh, yeah, I'm Mack.
Mack, where can people find you?
Pointless Reinvention. We take topics and reinvent them to make them probably worse most of the time. Bonus content now, which is a real good laugh, and I'm on Twitch at the Macaroni Prince. And my most recent thing on Twitch is I've been playing Honey Heist, and I don't do any prep for it and just improv the entire RPG game on the fly. That's been good. So come watch that.
Nice, that sounds pretty good. You can find this podcast on Twitter and Instagram at HiltonPod. That's at HILTMPod. We're on Discord as well, where you can suggest films to us. Let us know what you thought of Men in Black.
Oh, it's good. Everyone already seen it.
Yeah,
just
good point.
You've seen it and you like it.
This was a good one.
You're welcome.
Okay, for the post-credits bit, Mac, I don't think Matt's going to listen to this. Tin's part, I don't know, 8 or something.
Okay, that's it, right. So everyone think of a reinvention for tins. How would you reinvent tins?
Aliens. There's aliens in the tins.
Right, so every tin has an alien in it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
How would that...
Every tin has a galaxy in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
not the chocolate.
But
maybe
both.
Maybe the tin is the galaxy. No, the tin is the alien.
Oh yeah, that's good.
It's just full of coffee and cigarettes.
Yeah,
living tin.
Yeah.
I was on board. You've ruined it now.
So it's sort of like a tin mimic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to feed the mimic the baked beans.
Yeah, tin is a living organism.
Yeah.
And then once it's eaten, you feed it the baked beans, and then when you want your baked beans back, you have to pry it open.
Yeah, you have to fight the tin to open it.
The tin open in an alternative universe, a tin opener is a sword. You've got to fight your tin.
Yeah, tins have natural defenses, is what I'm going with.
An AC of 13 at least. I'm gonna hate this.